Hello, I'm Philip Sneller. Welcome to Window on the Word. Let's turn together to Daniel chapter 4. King Nebuchadnezzar, to all peoples, nations, and languages who dwell in all the earth, may your prosperity be great. It seemed good to me to explain the signs and wonders the Most High God has done for me, how great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion endures generation to generation. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at ease in my house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream, and it frightened me. As I lay in my bed, the visions of my head alarmed me. So I made a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known to me the interpretation of the dream. Then the magicians, conjurers, Chaldeans, and astrologers came in, and I told them the dream, but they could not make its interpretation known to me. And finally Daniel came before me, who was named Belteshazzar after the name of my God, and in whom was the spirit of the holy gods, and I told him the dream. O Belteshazzar, chief of the magicians, because I know that a spirit of the holy gods is in you, and that no mystery puzzles you, tell me the visions of my dream that I saw, and its interpretation. These are the visions of my head as I lay in my bed. I was looking, and behold, there was a tree in the midst of the earth, and its height was great. The tree grew great and strong, and its height reached to the heavens, and it was visible to the end of the whole earth. Its foliage was beautiful, and its fruit abundant, and food for all was in it. The beasts of the field found shade under it, and the birds of the heavens dwelt in its branches, and all flesh was fed from it. I saw in the visions of my head as I lay on my bed, and behold, a watcher, a holy one, came down from heaven. Calling loudly, he said thus, "Chop down the tree and cut off its branches, strip off its foliage, and scatter its fruit. Let the beasts flee from under it, and the birds from its branches. Only leave the stump of its root in the earth, with a band of iron and bronze, amid the grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. And let his mind be changed from a man's, and let the mind of a beast be given to him, and let 7 periods of time pass over him. The decree is by the command of the watchers, and the affair by the word from the holy ones, to the end that the living may know that the Most High has mastery in the kingdom of mankind, and gives it to whomever he desires, and sets the humblest of people over it. This is the dream that I, Nebuchadnezzar, saw. Now you, Belteshazzar, tell me the interpretation, because none of the wise men of my kingdom are able to make the interpretation known to me. But you are able, because the spirit of the holy gods is in you." Then Daniel, whose name is Belteshazzar, was appalled for a moment, and his thoughts alarmed him. The king answered and said, "Belteshazzar, do not let the dream or its interpretation alarm you." Belteshazzar answered and said, "My lord, may the dream be for those who hate you, and its interpretation for your foes. The tree that you saw, that became great and grew strong, and its height reached to the heavens, and it was visible to all the earth, and its foliage was beautiful, and its fruit abundant, and food for all was in it, under which beasts of the field found shade, and in whose branches dwelt the birds of the heavens. It is you, O king, who have grown great and become strong. Your greatness has grown and reaches to heaven, and your dominion to the end of the earth. And in that the king saw a watcher, a holy one, descending from heaven and saying, Chop down the tree and destroy it, only leave the stump of its root in the earth with a band of iron and bronze amid the grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth until 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king. It is a decree of the Most High that has come upon my lord the king. You will be chased away from mankind, and your dwelling place will be with the beasts of the field, and you will feed on grass like cattle, and you will be wet with the dew of heaven, and 7 periods of time will pass over you until you know that the Most High rules the kingdom of men, and he gives it to whomever he desires. And in that it was commanded to leave the stump of the roots of the tree, your kingdom will be enduring for you when you acknowledge that heaven rules. Therefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable to you. Break off your sins by doing what is right, and your iniquities by showing mercy to the needy, that there may perhaps be a lengthening of your prosperity. All this came upon King Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, as he was walking about the royal palace of Babylon, the king spoke and said, Is not this the great Babylon that I have built for a royal dwelling by my mighty power, and for the glory of my majesty? While the word was still in the king's mouth, a voice fell from heaven. To you, O King Nebuchadnezzar, it is commanded that the kingdom has passed away from you, and you will be chased away from mankind, and your dwelling place will be with the beasts of the field, and you will feed on grass like cattle, and 7 periods of time will pass over you, until you know that the Most High rules the kingdom of men and gives it to whomever he desires. And at that same moment, the word was fulfilled against Nebuchadnezzar, and he was chased away from mankind, and he ate grass like cattle, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, until his hair grew as long as eagle feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. At the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted my eyes to heaven, and my understanding returned to me. Then I praised the Most High, and I blessed the one who lives forever, blessing and glorifying him, because his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom endures from generation to generation. All the inhabitants of the earth are accounted as nothing, and he does as he desires with the force of heaven and the inhabitants of the earth, and there is no one who can stay his hand and say to him, What have you done? At that same time my understanding returned to me, and the glory of my kingdom, my majesty, and my splendor returned to me. My councils and my nobles sought me, and I was established over my kingdom, and surpassing greatness was added to me. Now, I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and glorify the King of heaven, because all his works are true and his ways are just. Those who walk in pride, he is able to humble. Thank you for listening. To God be the glory.